Hey everyone, and welcome to the Health E-commerce Friday Live podcast. I'm your host, Amy Kading, Technical Product Manager and Marketing Services Director here at Get Healthy. We've been going live every Friday to talk about growing the business of health and wellness. As always, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat throughout today's session. And so last week we talked about the differences between Get Healthy platform and Amazon. This week we're going to focus on one of our 5 success pillars, which is product offering. Really important.
Yeah.
And we have so much more to talk about than just supplements and the value of lifestyle when it comes to health changes. Returning again this week is special guest Tracy Straub, naturopathic doctor, VP of Innovation of Growth and Health at Get Healthy, all the other things. Welcome back, Tracy.
We're back, Amy. Here we are every Friday.
We are. We're doing it.
Good though. It's good. I mean, I think it's been really helpful to walk through all of this and to talk to practitioners about what they can do. And I really don't think people know all the facets of what the Get Healthy store technology can do for their practice, but I'm hoping that this actually opens their eyes to all the possibilities. So
I hope so too. It's such an in-depth tool. Like, I don't want to say complex, but there's just so much there. So I think these kind of individual deep dives, I'm finding them really healthy, and I work here. So
yeah, me too. I'm like, oh, we can do that.
Yeah.
And last night, Candace did such a great job on the what's new. And we had 2 great products that I didn't know we had. We actually have a really cool red light that we just onboarded.
Oh,
And
cool.
then we have a whole new sports line. So if people are watching this and missed that, they need to go catch that because I actually onboarded both products because I was like, these are great. Well, I didn't know we had them because, I'm working, you're working. And then I saw her thing last night and I was like, oh, that red light looks great. So I onboarded it. It's pretty cool. So,
Cool. Well, let's first start with our category offering. It's kind of the lead topic of this. We talk a lot about, supplements, and we've been talking the past few weeks about how diverse our offering is, but let's maybe dive in deeper into the specifics. So let's talk about the high level categories that we have. I'll pull that up real quick.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I always say is I talk about more than just supplements, right? So we do have supplements here at the Get Healthy store that you can onboard to your individual store. But we also have the personal care, food, nutrition, home care testing equipment, and now education, which is pretty cool. And we're going to do a separate, I think, Friday live on that. We can touch on it a little bit. And, I'd appreciate your input on content in general, which we talk very high level, I think. So I'm gonna kind of bring this down. As a practitioner, Amy, if you were in my care, obviously I would probably recommend some supplements to you. But if let's say you had allergies, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know that Courtney did such a great job this month of like putting out an allergy bundle and different bundle suggestions. It's really important that when we talk to people as practitioners, that we talk about lifestyle modification. So if I were to talk to you about allergies, I would talk to you not only about the supplements that you need to help modulate your histamine, but I would talk to you about like what kind of body lotions are you using? What kind of soaps? What kind of perfumes?
Mm-hmm.
All of these things can become problematic. Do you have an air purifier in your house, right? Do you have a nasal spray? So there's so many different things that I could talk about. And before, I would have to send people to different places to get the things I was talking about.
Right.
So while I could get them supplements, I didn't have an air purifier sitting in my office. Be like, here you go, Sally, here's your air purifier. So now what I can do is actually build a recommendation and send it to their email with an air purifier, and colloidal silver nasal spray, the supplements they need, some ideas for soaps and body lotions that are going to be, less toxic, even household cleaners. And then if it's a food sensitivity, if that's the allergy, I can send them a food sensitivity test as well. So it's kind of a really unique offering of all the product categories that we have as a practitioner of how easy this made my job to help people get healthier. So it was one of the things that I probably loved the most.
That's amazing. And when you say lifestyle, how are you defining lifestyle? I mean, people use that in a lot of different contexts, but how do you personally define that?
Well, I'd say lifestyle is how you live, and all the mechanisms of life. And in order to live, you have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to drink water. All living beings have thoughts and emotions, so we got to keep
Mhm.
those in check. Your spirituality can be part of your lifestyle. How you move. I mean, everybody moves, right? We all move. So exercise is part of lifestyle, but all of those things. And then you could compartmentalize through each one. Nutrition, what does that look like? We have a nutrition category, we have food on our platform, right? Hydration. I mean, right now let's just talk about the real market trend that's going on in my area in the east. We had a train that derailed, and then they set it on fire because they thought that would be a good idea of how to get rid of it, and it created a massive cloud of this chemical that they had to evacuate the people around it. People were worried about water contamination. They were worried about all the things. So my suggestion was every practitioner that uses our tech should have some sort of binder that they're offering out, whether it's a activated charcoal, or there's one that we have that's an ultra binder. And then also an air purifier if people are worried about the smoke, getting into the people's houses. And then third, a water system that has a carbon filter on it so that you can make sure that your water's clear. I mean, that's an easy bundle that practitioners, because they are on our technology, could put together and be like, here, I know you're scared, but here's the things that you can do to really enhance your health. And the issue is practitioners are busy. So what Courtney did this month was she kind of built these bundles and said, here's some ideas. And that's really kind of the uniqueness of that would be me enhancing someone's lifestyle. I'm not just giving them a supplement. A supplement is not going to purify their air.
Right.
Supplement's not going to filter their water. So we needed something to step in there to enhance all parts of the lifestyle that can be broken down or can become degraded, from something out external or internal. So that's kind of how I look at lifestyle.
Great. Let's maybe go into some of these bundles so that folks get, a visual of what we're talking about. Let's start with something like the performance bundle.
Yeah, this is good. These are some specific, brands that are on our technology. So we have Mantra Labs, which is a partner with us, Prism Fitness, and Higher Dose. All great. So if we talk about a performance bundle, what do all these do, right? So just as a layperson watching this, or even a practitioner, hydrate electrolytes. Well, that's great for any type of athlete that needs electrolyte balancing. Rise Go is a great powdered formulation. It tastes good. It's a great way to start your day. It's loaded with a lot of nutrients and vitamins for energy. Prism has a really cool home gym, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the infrared sauna, this is something that, as I said yesterday, red light, infrared, all of that is really important because it's going to help you naturally detox. And red light has been studied, for decades for cellular regeneration, helping cells divide and actually killing cells that shouldn't be in your body. Has a system called autophagy. It'll target cells and kill the ones that shouldn't be there, that are causing you sickness, then actually recycles the good parts. And then it puts the good parts back into this recycling bin for your cells to use it. That's called autophagy. It's a natural process. And infrared actually helps accelerate that. So people that need to recover very quickly could use something like Higher Dose infrared mat and use it every day. And they're naturally cellularly enhancing their health. And then I don't know, over COVID, Amy, if you were traveling, I traveled a lot through COVID. So I ended up in hotels. And what they did was, instead of people going to the gym, they put these corner gyms in. So it was just a pole. It had this sliding pole, and it had TheraBands on it. It had a foam roller that was in a holder, a couple of performance blocks, and a physio ball, like an exercise ball. And it fit in the corner. And Prism Health actually has one. It's
interesting.
And it's a great price. So, people are always talking about home gyms, and they're so expensive. True. But this little gym, I mean, for everything, I think retails maybe $500-$600. I know that's not extraordinarily cheap, but a home gym that you're going to look, just even for like a Smith machine or something that's like some sort of universal workout machine, you'll pay $3,000 to $5,000 for.
Absolutely. I mean, just a bike alone is over $1,000.
Exactly. So this is, and it fits right in the corner. It's really cool. So when we brought on Prism Fitness, I was like, man, this is awesome. So I actually made it part of my 12 ideas at Christmas. I put it in an email and I sent it out. I was like, these are great gifts, guys. Like, this is what people are looking for, you know? So yeah, so just stuff like that where you can go on other distributors and they're not going to have the lifestyle enhancement that we offer here. And I just think it's really an important offer.
Cool. Let's look at another one. Let's look at this beauty bundle. I don't think
Neither one of us.
I didn't really think about beauty much when I first started working here, but I love this category.
Well, let's just take a look. Like Derm One, they're very clean products. You know, we also have Vital Proteins, which is collagen. I mean, collagen is still the number one seller. It still is. Women still care about their hair, skin, and nails, and so do men. And then we have Chroma Wellness, the beauty matcha latte, which not only is delicious, but full of nutrients. So if we look at these things, the biggest thing I would say to point out with the beauty bundles is we want to be using skin products and recommending skin products to our patrons, clients, patients, because xenoestrogens or fake estrogens are very high in beauty products. So there's no FDA regulation in the United States over skincare and makeup. It's just not something that they care about or talk about. Now, in other countries, it's highly regimen. There's a high regimen of like, you know, you have to have low this or low that. You can't have high things that are going to be toxic to the skin. Your skin's an organ. It's the largest organ on your body. It gets rid of things and it sucks in things. So when we're looking at, you know, okay, I've enhanced my sleep. I'm exercising every day. I'm eating all organic. And then you walk into some place like Bath and Beyond or whatever it's called. You pick up the thing and on the label, it says, don't use if pregnant. You should probably be like, why? Why should I use it?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's stuff in there that is going to be toxic to the fetus and to the mother. And guess what? Even not pregnant, it's still toxic to you. So those are called endocrine disruptors, and they disrupt the endocrine system or your hormones in both men and women. So when we onboard brands here, they have to have a certain standard of quality and cleanliness and wellness. We're not trying to promote disease. You know, we could onboard lots of makeup companies. We could onboard lots of skincare companies, but we're very specific on who we allow on our tech because we are trying to promote wellness.
Yeah.
So as a practitioner, you know, I will talk to women, they come in and they're sick and they're getting Botox injections. And I'm like, well, you're putting botulism in your face. So you may not want to do that anymore. And those are just real things that I talk about. So then I will recommend a new skincare product line. I'll recommend using essential oils versus perfume, or using these quality products that are on my technology on my store that I can actually script to them and say, this is what I like. So people don't think, we got to think across lifestyle. I mean, we're bombarded with so many toxins every single day. It's not just, I mean, we talk about quality supplements, but you can take all the supplements you want, but if you keep slathering endocrine disruptors on your face, you're going to have hormone issues eventually.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it kind of ties back to what we were talking about last week with Amazon. Just, I mean, our whole principle is, you know, having products that are trustworthy. And so when you do come to shop on the site, you don't have to question any of that, which is a big deal these days because you don't know what you're getting. And it's hard to read every single label.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the things I think, you know, with the other bundles that we offer, and you can kind of flash these up, and I think we can just talk about, so allergy bundle, this is exactly what I was talking about, like Ameo, Life, Colloidal Silver, and should be AMEO. That's on our technology. This is actually a new nasal spray that we just onboarded and actually has a little bit of aloe vera, which is going to nourish the inside of the nose. Air filters of all kinds. I mean, we have great air filters. And then quercetin. We know, and actually if you couple that quercetin with vitamin C, it's a natural anti-inflammatory. It's a natural steroid. So just the combination of quercetin and vitamin C used therapeutically, great. So that would be a great allergy bundle that practitioners could say, hey, this is what I suggest you do. And I assure you, it will improve that person's quality. So
cool.
Yep, sleep and stress. This is what we all need right now. I mean, if you watch anything on YouTube or anything on social media, Apparently the world's ending, aliens are invading, and Jesus is coming back on a cloud tomorrow. So, this is probably something that everyone can do. But again, look at what we've kind of put out there. Not only are we enhancing sleep with maybe some ashwagandha to, help with adrenals, your vegan omega SPM, that's a good one. That's going to help with inflammation systemically. So if you have any type of sleep apnea, that could be very beneficial. Stress response, Gaia herbs, but I like the Cube Sleep System. This is the Chili Pad by Sleep Me. And a lot of people will tell me, like, I love it cold in my bedroom, right? But my husband loves it cold and I freeze. And that tends to be Eric and I. He'll open the window in a snowstorm and I have 42 blankets on, right? So yeah, I'm just looking forward to menopause when I can just torture him. So if I ever have a hot flash, I'm opening up everything. So, but this would be something that, perhaps to get a good sleep for me, a good night's sleep and a good night's sleep for Eric, I might get him the Chili Pad. That way on his side of the bed, he can put that down and be comfortable, be nice and cool as he is. And I can still remain warm and not be freezing because he's having some sort of man pause and, being really hot. Sorry, honey. Love you. But anyway, so those are some things to think about as well.
That's great. And this one, we've got kind of another along the lines of relaxing, curl up with a book bundle.
This should be called Courtney's favorite bundle, I think. But I mean, some light reading that she picked here: Unlocking Lyme, Toxic Legacy with Stephanie Seneff. That's just a good feel-good read right there. Calming blend teas and purity coffee. You're going to need that calming tea. I will tell you that. So yeah, we do have an entire education, books and courses, which I'm going to get to next. We'll talk about courses next, but we do have a great line of books, and that's great. I mean, Amazon. A lot of people will buy supplements from me and jump to Amazon because I talked about a book. I mean, I talk about building wellness with DMG all the time. I talk about Toxic Legacy. That was Dr. Stephanie Seneff is the lead research scientist at MIT. She's the senior research scientist. She's one of the most renowned published scientists in the country. And she wrote that book, Toxic Legacy, all about glyphosate and its harm on our health. And so you could take that book and couple it with a good detox and sal. And it gives what you're talking about validity. Not that people don't believe me, but my gosh, Stephanie Seneff, I mean, she's world known. Like, she's amazing. So I might say to somebody, listen, I'm going to put you on this detox program. I think living on a farm where you're spraying glyphosate and Roundup on everything, I think might be one of the issues. And I'm going to give you this book written by the senior research scientist at MIT for, to give you a valid understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. And so the compliancy goes up and the education goes up of that person. And now they understand why there's value in the purchasing of supplements. So we don't have to, as ambassadors, say, listen, this is really important. I have somebody that wrote a whole book on why it's important. So just that cross-pollination of, a one-stop shop of getting somebody all they need to understand that health is an investment, and we shouldn't wait to get sick to put a value on it, which is what we tend to do.
Yeah, I'm very guilty of that.
Right now, your conscience is kicking in and you're just like, this is like the worst thing ever.
I'm thinking I gotta go empty my entire makeup drawer and everything in my shower and start all over, but we'll talk about that offline.
Yeah, well, there are things you can do, baby steps. You don't have to I always tell people, don't go home and throw everything out. Like, I know that's what you want to do right now. Maybe start with like a nice internal detox and wean out of those bad habits that you have and replace one thing once a week or once a month, because it gets overwhelming. I mean, my gosh, it's like every single thing that we do basically is going to kill us. I mean, that's kind of how people feel after walking out of my office. And I'm like, yeah, kind of, but supplements help.
Yeah, I know. It's like every time I sit in the sun, I know I'm not supposed to be there, but I need just a little bit of the vitamin D coming in my eyes.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because that's a good one. Because sunscreens, right? We do have natural sunscreens on our platform. And you can use those that have zinc oxide and other things that are going to be much safer than what you're putting on your skin from, let's say, I don't know, what is that one company where the little girl's butt sticking out with the tan line?
That
Coppertone.
copper tone, maybe? I don't know. One of those.
Will be forever embedded in my brain. But, the sun basically produces all life on the earth. It's not the thing that causes skin cancer. It's our gluttony of the sun when we sit outside and we fry ourselves like an egg and cause oxidative stress. And then internally, we have oxidative stress because we're using crappy makeup and eating terribly.
Mhm.
So it's not the sun that does it. Sitting in the sun is actually important. And this is what I talk to my clients about. It's just removing the mysticism of what we do and also the indoctrination of what you've been taught is bad for you versus what actually is. So the sun is good. Without it, we all die, but we don't die without, I don't know, Lancome. Just saying. So that's kind of how I put it in perspective, right? Everything's perspective. And as a practitioner, you have the opportunity then to be like, and here's your new makeup, and here's your new skin, and here's your new sunscreen that's much safer than you, and here's vitamin C, collagen, and a good omega so that your skin doesn't have oxidative stress when you're sitting in the sun. And that's why tropical areas are full of coconut trees, right? And they're full of citrus fruits because it's vitamin C and good fats that protect your skin from the rays of the sun. So anyway, those are things how we can educate and then how we can script that lifestyle protocol for people. And it can be life-changing. And that's just one thing, right? Just one thing.
But what a gift just the scripting is, because that right there, me thinking about how I have to go research all these things and like, I'm just not going to do it. I don't have time. But if somebody that I trust is going to send me exactly what I need to buy, like I'm going to convert on that. I'm going to go press it and I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm going to feel better at the end of the day by doing that. But without that, there's no way. It's too hard to get started, at least for me.
No, I totally agree with you. And I think it's also really confusing out there, as we talked last week, for you to go and try to find the product. And then you may have like researched and you're like, okay, I need vitamin C and collagen and a good fat. I know exactly what I need. I read this blog. It was amazing. Mm-hmm. And then you go to Amazon and there's 40,000 vitamin C's and all of these omegas. And then you just don't know what to buy. And then you're back again to the overwhelmed and not doing anything for yourself. Right. And you're still in the same position. So when people message me on Facebook or they send me a text or wherever, I will literally say, what's your email? And most of the time I have to ask what their name, because it's like Sparkly Cat or whatever the Facebook name is. And Instagram's worse. Yeah. Because Instagram, people just put like what they like as their name. And then I'm like, well, who are you? So I'm like, what's your first and last name and what's your email? And then I go on the back end of my store and I build them a little recommendation and I send it to them. And I'm like, here's what I want you to do. And here's how I want you to take it. And you know what? They're like, thank you so much. This made this so easy. Yep, totally. And sometimes I'll throw in a little piece of education. Here's my course on it as well. Right. We can build courses on our tech now. Or here's a book that I found very helpful. And this will help you understand why I'm recommending what I am. And I'll tell you, I can see the carts that convert on the back of my tech, and most of the time, if it's not converting, it's because they missed it. And I will go back there and I look. So now I know if people are buying, right? Yeah. I know if people are converting and I know if it's worth my time. And I got to tell you, I'm probably at 80% conversion back there, which is astounding with e-com, because what's the average on conversion? I don't know. But I know I'm doing okay. So.
Well, when you think of a front end site, you're pretty happy to be between like 2 and 5%, depending on your volume. So if your back end, your clinical admin side is converting that high rate, I mean, it's amazing. And you're just broadening your audience even further. So It's a win all around.
Well, let's talk about content, because this is something that I had to learn as a practitioner, the value of. I always talk about manipulation marketing versus content marketing. Mm-hmm. And I tell practitioners, like, don't scare people to get them to buy from you. That's manipulating them, right? Don't manipulate them. That's like a pharma trick. Like, ask your doctor about all the ways that you won't die from taking this medication. No, okay, well, and then underneath it's like may cause sleepiness, drowsiness, death. It's like, okay. That's what I'm always like. So I usually say, don't go with manipulation. Like, get them to a reflective purchase with some sort of content. And that means educating them. So, you're the content expert because this is what you do. Can you just give us a little, why is it valuable that we do have content and how do we use it best?
Yeah, so let's start with like content is so many different things. And I think people, use it, throw it around all the time, but there's so many different types. There's blog content. There's content that you read and digest. I mean, video content is what everybody's buzzing about now, whether it's 5 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 30-minute webinars. I mean, video, people don't really want to read. Again, our attention span just gets less and less and less every single day. But there's also images, and it's used across all social platforms. So, content is in the digital world is anything that you're really going to see on a screen and digest, and it's going to influence you in some way. And of course, you still have books that you hold in your hands, all those types of assets. But really, when it comes to e-commerce, I mean, you're trying to send a message to represent who you are and your beliefs. So when you're putting out content that's manipulative, I'm going to think you're a manipulator. It's drawing people into you. It shouldn't be always salesy. Like, you want to educate folks. People want to know what's in their products, what their products are doing. And so they need more information. You can't just understand everything a product does by looking at it on a shelf, looking at it on a product page. Like, you need more. That's why product pages have product descriptions. But now they also have videos and all images, which means, just the different angles, like to zoom in. All those things are so important because you need all of those details, because we are now in this environment where everyone's a little wary and, the trust isn't quite there. So that's why that content piece is so important, not just from an e-commerce standpoint, but from a digital marketing. It goes back to that pillar of engagement. And having that connection. When you send a recommendation to somebody who just messaged you off Instagram, you're building a connection with them, and it's like step one, and it's just going to build out further. And then they're probably going to follow you more on lives and talks that you do. So it's just going to branch out even further from there. It doesn't always have to be paid. People sometimes think content and digital marketing, like, I don't have a big advertising budget, or I don't know anything about like Google ads and paid search. You don't have to. There still is a good opportunity for organic content. And that's what people really like these days. That's why TikTok's blowing up. They want to see people being real and not staged and perfect lighting. They want to be able to relate. And
I have a pet peeve with TikTok. You know what I don't like? There's two kinds of videos that I'll just bounce from right away. When someone's doing their makeup and talking about something, or somebody's eating with the little side thing of another video that they're watching, and they're just sitting there. I'm just like, why? Why do you have to do your makeup and talk to me? Like, just talk to me. Like, do your makeup first, then talk. Like, I don't want to watch you do all the things. Like,
not all content is good. Just to
my pet peeve. And I don't know what Google ads are and why they're valuable. I don't use them. I do think your point of people are weary, but they're also interested. We're at a time right now where consumers, they want education. They want to know why. Whereas before, they were going with blind faith. And I think what happened over the last 3 years was like, blind faith got me to this point. I'm not going with blind faith anymore. I want evidential faith. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to provide me with some content. You're going to have to convince me this is good. And then I need to feel secure that I understand it enough as a consumer to actually buy it and take it. That's where we are. And I actually appreciate those educated clients because they work great with functional medicine. They work great with integrative medicine and holistic medicine. They work fabulous because an educated client for me is so much easier. I don't have to convince them to spend money on their health. I don't have to be like, listen, you might get sick. And when you're sick, you're really going to have to spend money on it. Let's do it now. They're already in. They already want what I have. They come to my store and they're ready to buy because they have self-educated either through what I've provided or other brilliant people out there. And they come there and, like you said, in many forms, blogs, posts, infographics. But I think courses still to this day are the most powerful. I can look back on the back of my technology and tell you the months that I did courses. So I did courses in July and I did one this month, and they were one in February. They're my two highest selling months. You know why? Because people learned to take care of themselves. And I wasn't teaching about a product. I taught a functional blood work course, and I taught people how to look at their blood work for functional levels and how to take their health back. And you know what they did? They actually did it. They looked at their blood and they say, I need this. They made their own educated decision. They went to my store and they bought what they needed. Easy peasy. So I wasn't manipulating them. I was teaching them.
Right.
And that's the whole thing. Like, this whole educated era is the best era. So now I build that course on my technology because I did it live, right? I built it on the back of my store, and I can send people that technology when they're just like, hey, I got my blood work back and this is up and that's down. Be like, well, you can come do a consult with me, or you can take this course and learn how to look at it yourself. So it's almost like teaching people to be their own practitioner, which I think today that's what people are really interested in. They're tired of giving their health away. They're tired of trying to figure it all out. And I think content, I heard somebody say content is dead. And I'm like, that's probably because your content stinks. Because for me, it's not dead. And for a lot of other people, it's not dead. So we have to provide people with more education and empowerment so they can make their own decisions for their health. I don't want people to rely on me. I want people to learn from me and then go rely on their own knowledge and wisdom. It's the most powerful thing that somebody can do.
Totally right. We are in this educational era. And I think I like to point out, look at how far we've come since 30 years ago. 30 years ago, you would see a 30-second ad on TV, like you just kind of mentioned, about maybe some new drug with a really shady disclaimer. And now, first of all, most people aren't even watching ads on TV. The context is so much more in depth than what they're looking at that time ago. So it's come really far, and people are getting smarter. So
yeah,
content has to get smarter.
I love it. I know that some doctors don't like when people question them. I actually like when my clients will ask, why am I taking? What about this? Why can't I do that? That's called a conversation, not an interrogation, right? And I think some people look at it as an interrogation because you think your clients are questioning what you're recommending, and they're not. They're just trying to learn. So, like I said, I use my Get Healthy store a lot, and it's branded to me, and people know that when they're on my page, they're with me. They're products that I chose from the back end of my store, and I don't have to put all products on there that I don't like. And I don't have to represent products I don't like. And trust me, I don't. But I think, across platform, it also allows me to be an educator, which is really close to my heart. And so we've created a learning management system in the back where I can create courses, and practitioners that have our technology can do the same. And then we can sell those courses through the front end of the store. So it's easy for people to find everything all in one place. I don't have to send them over here to my learning management system and over here to my affiliate link for something else, and then to Amazon for a product that's not my store. Everything's right on my store. Consumer-wise, super easy. They feel confident and safe. And for me personally, I feel confident and safe that, people aren't confused, and that I can send them direct recommendations, and they know that's exactly what they need. So win-win.
Awesome. Well, once again, that 30 minutes just flew by talking with you. And I don't know about everybody else, but that was very educational for me. Thank you, Tracy.
Well, I'll be sending you a recommendation once you throw your makeup away.
Great. Yeah. Get me on track. And as a reminder for anyone, looking to use the platform, adding all these products to your store is so simple. Just again, to reiterate, you don't have to go and source and onboard brands. Like, it's all there. You just get to really click add to my store. So we make it really easy for you. Mm-hmm. All right. So again, if anybody has any follow-up questions from today, feel free to reach out to me directly at amy.kading@gethealthy.store, or you can find us on our website at gethealthy.store/contact. Please make sure you follow and subscribe to all of our social channels. And then next week, we have John Armstrong, our CEO and founder, returning to talk to us about a question we get pretty frequently, which is, why can't I just use Fullscript? So
you don't even need to do that next week, John. I just told them why. But bring Teddy, because everybody wants to see Teddy.
I know. We've got to bring Teddy in. Maybe next week will be the week.
He's usually sleeping at this hour. So.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for being here. Thank you again, Tracy. And I hope you all have a great Friday.